Hello Hyder, it's lovely to have you here at TMCS in Sheraton, in a beautiful place, and you just delivered a wonderful workshop.
Thank you very much.
So our members already know you, but for the listeners, maybe a short introduction about yourself. Who is Hyder?
Sure. So my name is Hyder. I'm a charisma coach. I run my own business called the High Flyer Nation. And what I do is I help my clients develop their natural charisma for sales and leadership so that they can have more influence, respect, and authority at work.
Wow, that sounds very charismatic and very persuasive. So I can see how you are teaching that. You are paid, yes. And for the listeners to know, you were the champion of 2024 in evaluations. So first of all, I would like to ask you, how was the experience? And secondly, what was the key element that you feel served you to win that championship? Because you had very tough competition.
Of course. So key elements, of course, hard work, resilience, perseverance, these are all the standard stuff. But I joined Toastmasters in 2013. So now it's 2024, and that's when I finally won my first district contest. So in the way I see it is, yes, you can start off really good, or maybe you're not so good, but at the end of the day, you want to get to a certain level, you got to put in your 10,000 hours, which roughly equates to about 10 years. So I've been here about 13 years, and I guess that's about time.
Wow, really? So indeed, now I understand what you mean, that you really need to invest time to get that championship.
Have to.
Very well deserved.
Thank you.
Once again, congrats. I know you were actually competing with some of the members from our club and you aced it, so really amazing for you and for the club, for us to listen how you made this happen. All right, few questions that I would like to ask you for our listener to know about the best evaluation. And the first one is, what do you think is the best way to give a feedback in such a way that we do not discourage the speaker?
Okay, so best ways to give feedback, I would say avoid a few things. All right, you want to avoid a few mistakes. Number one, don't use the word but.
Okay,
so you say something, it's like, oh, the speaker was really great, but...
And you killed it immediately.
You killed it, right? Because whatever you say before the but
correct.
is now being invalidated. Okay, so in general, right, try to avoid certain words. Of course, when you're giving an evaluation to someone, you want to start off on a positive note.
Correct.
You don't want to cram your evaluation. Also, I like this, I like this, I like this. And then this one you can improve, this one you can improve, this one. Then it becomes too overwhelming for the speaker.
Too many points at the same time, throwing at them,
That's one of the big mistakes that we also covered during the workshop. In fact, that's mistake number one. Listing. And cramming your evaluation. So you don't have a lot of time to evaluate or to say everything that comes to your mind. But a great evaluator knows how to identify what are the key things that if the speaker starts to implement or to apply, that's going to make the difference from good to great. Right? So that is a mark of a great evaluator.
Indeed. And Hyder, you mentioned in the workshop that you suggest that person gives 2 good points and 2 improvement points. Why is that? Why 2 in both sides?
Okay, so very simple. If let's say you give 3 great points and only 1 not so good point. So it kind of gives the feeling that, oh, you feel that the speaker did really great, there was nothing much that you could have found. Now conversely, if let's say you had 3 recommendations and only 1 good point, then it could seem like you're a bit nitpicking or you're finding fault with the speaker. So as much as possible, you want to balance your evaluation with effectiveness and at the same time being encouraging.
Correct.
Right? You want to share with them how can they improve, but at the same time make them feel good that they did the right things. So I would say that the ratio of 2-2 is a great start. If let's say you find that, okay, I don't know how to give a good evaluation, find 2 good points. Once you found 2 good points, then find 2 things that you feel the speaker can improve.
Correct.
And then when you have 2-2, it becomes naturally very balanced.
Correct.
Right? So balance is the essence.
Correct. And I have to mention here that before Hyder gave his workshop, my style of evaluation was immediately writing down which points I like and which points I feel need to be improved. But what you introduced today is actually saying, write down first the examples, concrete examples on what were the good points or the improvement points, and then make it as a what.
Exactly.
So that was really a twist that I was not aware of before.
Great, yes. And the reason for that is because you don't want to forget or miss out on the great gems that the speaker said in the speech, and you don't have a lot of time.
Correct.
Right? So if you try to remember, okay, they did this well, but what did they say exactly? Or maybe they give 3 E's, I can only remember 2.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why you want to write down exactly what is their content on the examples.
Yeah, exact words almost.
Exact
right?
words.
Yeah, that's
verbatim.
amazing.
Right? And then while you are recording, you realize that you're also trying to think and you may miss out on certain points. That's okay.
Yeah.
You cannot catch everything.
Yeah.
But at least you caught something.
Correct.
And that's valid.
And that's a great tip. Thanks a lot. It was very practical. One thing that I would like to ask you, also for our listeners, what is our motivation to become a great speaker? So one thing is to be a great speaker and evaluator, especially evaluator in Toastmasters. How does that help us in life, being a great evaluator? What do you feel?
Of course, when it comes to being a leader, right? Let's say you want to ascend into positions of leadership.
Correct.
You need to be able to give feedback. You can't run away from it. In fact, one of the first few things is you need to know how to accept feedback first. Once you're able to do that, then when you become a leader, you need to be able to give feedback not only to your subordinates, your colleagues, sometimes even your boss. You need to deliver feedback in a way that's not going to offend them, but at the same time, it's helpful for them.
And that leads me to a very tricky question for my personal experience in corporate life. What do you do when you feel that a person in front of you is simply not open to receive your feedback? What would be your best tip?
Right. So there are many things you can do. First and foremost, if you catch them in a bad mood, that's a no-go.
Okay.
Right? So could you change the environment? Maybe if you were to give that feedback in the boardroom when everybody's staring at them, and you know it's your boss, they need to maintain face.
Correct.
So you don't want to criticize them out front in front of everyone. So perhaps, could you take it to lunch?
Correct.
After they had a good meal and they're feeling better. Maybe you could say something like, you know boss, earlier during the meeting, I wanted to say something but I didn't feel like it was the right time to say it. Is it okay if I share it with you now?
Oh, that's lovely. That's a lovely tip to actually ask a person up front, are you open now for a feedback?
Exactly.
So if they give you a yes, actually they're much more perceptive to actually receiving it.
That's right. And here's the thing. Sometimes, and this is a pro tip, and as a charisma coach, I love all these little nuances of communication.
Correct.
Let's say you've just given your speech.
Yes.
All right, and I'm not your evaluator.
Correct.
But if let's say I say, you know, Irina, I really like your speech, you could actually improve in terms of this, and this.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
Well, I would feel that it was not necessarily asked, and it's a bit of an intrusive energy. It feels like,
right? It feels like, wait, who are you to?
Tell me.
Correct. Yes, we are in Toastmasters. You can give me feedback, right? So some people would prefer that, Irina, just now when you were giving your speech, I noticed a few things, right? Are you open to feedback?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm asking you. But here's the thing, I'm breaking my own rule.
Okay.
Now, however, when you put people on the spot, like, are you open to feedback? Most of the time they're going to say yes, even if they don't feel like receiving your feedback.
Yeah, correct. So what do you feel that?
So the best way is to say, you know, Irina, I have some feedback for you with regard to your speech. Let me know if you're open if you're open, I'll share it with you.
Later on,
I'll text it to you, I'll call you, right? You let me know when you like to receive it, right? If let's say she doesn't come back to me, just treat it as she's not open.
Correct.
Right?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, Hyder, that leads me to a following question. What do you think is the main difference delivering your feedback at the Toastmaster or similar clubs and delivering a feedback in a corporate and any other setting?
Yes, that's a very good question. In fact, in Toastmasters, generally we like to start out with a positive.
Correct.
Well, I use the sandwich model, right? Start with the great points. But you will notice that in the corporate world, it can be a little bit different.
Yeah.
If people notice that is the way you say it, then people are like, Irina, can you just cut the good parts? I don't need to hear it. Just tell me exactly where I want to improve.
Yes.
You will get that response a lot sometimes in the corporate world, especially with people who are a little bit more logical.
Yeah.
So they would prefer that you just be objective with me.
Correct.
I can take it.
Even
though they can't. Right?
Yes.
So they'll be like, just shoot it straight to me.
Correct.
And if that's the case in the corporate world, you want to check in with them, right? How would you prefer? Would you want me to just tell you straight, or would you want me to talk about this in another time?
Oh,
right?
okay.
And that's a very simple indicator of whether they are more objective thinkers or subjective feelers. If they're subjective feelers, you might need to court them, ask them out for coffee, have a heart-to-heart, then you will share.
So here, once again, the ball is on their end to tell you when is a good time and what is the best way with them, correct?
Yes. The ball is always in the receiver's court.
Yeah.
All right. As long as you have that mindset, you will notice that, okay, I'm adding value to you.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So you need to come and get it from me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Makes a lot of
I'm
sense.
not going to force it if, let's say, you're not open to it.
That's a lovely skill, especially if you're a salesperson, or actually any other person, but especially, correct. Yeah. Lovely skill. Thank you and for sharing this. And one of the final questions, do you have, like right now, if I would ask you, who was the best, or what was the best evaluation you've heard, you've received, or you've given yourself? What comes to your mind and why?
It's hard to say, or it's difficult to say who gave the best evaluation. I've heard of some notable evaluations by different speakers.
Correct.
Like one evaluation that I thought was quite notable is the speaker used a different framework, right? So they used Aristotle's 3 appeals, and he talked about, so Aristotle, he said that there are 3 different facets if you want to persuade somebody to do something.
Correct.
Right? Ethos, logos, and pathos.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Which is logic, credibility, and emotions.
Correct.
So the evaluator actually used logic, credibility, and emotion to evaluate the speaker, which I thought was very creative. It was very unique.
Yes.
So I thought that was great. Some speakers like to use acronyms, but it really depends.
Correct.
It depends. Yeah. It's a hit or miss.
Correct.
Sometimes the acronym tends to limit you, which makes it, I would say, not efficient for you as an evaluator and also for the speaker. Right? So I would rather not use an acronym.
Oh. Hyder, my last question for you.
Go ahead.
As a charisma coach, what is the first tip that comes to your mind right now? If I would ask you, how can we increase our charisma while on the stage? Doesn't matter if we're giving evaluation or speech or anything else that we are delivering in front of the audience. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Yes. So the first, or rather the tip that I can share with anyone, if you want to start increasing your charisma, is you need to speak with conviction. You need to believe in what you're saying, right? Because if you don't believe it, then it becomes theatrical. I'm just speaking to you in a certain way, but at the same time, I may be BSing you.
Correct.
But if you're speaking with conviction, with energy, with enthusiasm, naturally your charisma is going to come out. In fact, all the charismatic leaders of the world, the Barack Obamas, the Gandhis, the Martin Luther King Juniors, even the not so good ones like the Hitlers, right?
Correct.
They never went for Toastmasters. They never learned about vocal variety and all that, but because they speak with so much conviction, that's where the charisma comes out. That's where the aura comes out.
Correct.
They know that whatever they say has impact on people. It will benefit them.
They fully believe in it themselves.
They fully believe in it. They are congruent. So when you are congruent with how you think, how you act, and what you say,
that's the first.
That's your aura.
Which, to be honest, is not an easy mastery because so many of us are not really sure what we are sure about.
Exactly.
So I understand, but I perfectly understand. It took me time to get to that moment where I'm aligned with what I'm saying.
That's right.
It resonates a lot.
So before you go into conviction, remember the prerequisite of that is clarity.
Clarity of...
Okay, clarity of thought. What is the clarity of your message? If the audience is not clear, go back to the drawing board. How is this not clear? Where am I not clear? Right? If let's say I tell you I'm a charisma coach, but you still don't know what exactly I do, right? Then, or maybe I don't speak with charisma, even worse, right? So it's not matching. Then that's where I may not be clear about something, and people may have a harder time to digest or to accept it.
Correct.
Right. So as long as you speak with conviction, naturally your charisma will come out.
Perfect. Hyder, thank you so much once again for showing up at TMCS and delivering the wonderful workshop. And we cannot wait to see you at the next championship competition and so on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.